Welcome to Ting and Wal.
Here we're always trying to find different and innovative ways to interact with you guys. Like in this case, we looked at Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds.
Here we will be making our picks for a hypothetical redub of the series.
We looked at the voice cast of Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds in the dub. For those that actually watched it in dub and enjoyed it, by all means, more power to you. For us, unfortunately a little too for kids cringy.
Wal will be presenting the choices for each entry for the both of us. But I'll chime in with an alternative choice from time to time.
We will reference both the sub and dub names of these characters, just so we don't leave some people lost in the sauce. This one's an easy one since it translated between the dub and the sub as the same name. Fudo Yusei or Yusei Fudo. My pick for his voice actor would be Gerard Green. For those that don't know who Mr. Green is, he was Gray in Disguise in the anime known as Black Clover. He was Eric or Cobra in Fairy Tail. And he was also known as the cowgirl's uncle from Goblin Slayer. Gerard Green as Yusei would be just a pitch more confident in comparison to Eric.
Like I'd fall for that!
Man! He was like a dog!
Look, I am cocky, but I'm not a lonely dude, you blue fleabag.
To my known knowledge, that would actually be the first time he would be casted in as the main protag. By all means, watchers, if you've seen him as a main protag somewhere else, comment below.
My nomination for Yusei's voice would be Matt Mercer. No relation to Tess Mercer. Some of his more notable roles include Trafalgar Law from One Piece and Jotaro Kujo from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. He's also known for his role in Attack on Titan as the badass Captain Levi. I would like Yusei's voice to be somewhere around Levi's voice range.
I think nothing instills discipline like pain. You don't need a good talking to. What you're in need of, boy, is to be taught a lesson. And you happen to be in perfect kicking position.
For the rival, also known as Jack Atlas, my pick would be Damian Clark. For those who have watched Kitty Grade, he was Armbrust. And for those who watched the original Full Metal Alchemist, he was Scar. However, this is the main reason why I nominated him. He was the voice of Perfect Cell in Dragon Ball Z. This one's for my sub-watchers. If you recall that energy that Jack Atlas had there, now compare it to the energy that Damian Clark can bring into that role.
I think it fits Jack's confident personality perfectly.
You seem to be enjoying yourself very much.
Now for some people's favorite bird brain, Crow Hogan. My nomination goes to Dan Green. This one should be a nostalgia pop for the dub watchers. He had the main role in Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters, both Yu-Gi-Moto and Atem. He was also Knuckles in Sonic X. Here's a random role that he had. He was in Ape Escape 2 as the Professor. Dan Green was definitely just about everywhere during that 4Kids era of dubbing. I'm not hating on the 4Kids era whatsoever, I'm just pointing it out. Heck, I grew up in it.
My nomination for Crow's voice would be Edward Bosco. He's known for a few anime side roles such as Hammerhead from One Punch Man and Serizawa from Mob Psycho 100. And for you fighting game fans, he is also the dub voice for Chip Zana from the Guilty Gear franchise. I think Chip's voice would suit Crow since both of them have a similar wavelength in terms of character.
I came to vanquish a demon, but it looks like my target ran far out of my reach. So that transmission is our lifeline.
For the role of Aki or Akiza, I would choose Willow Johnson. She had the roles of Lily McGuire from Fatal Fury. She also had the role of Kazumi Tendo from Ranma Half. Last and certainly not least, she was Kikyo from Inuyasha. That's the perfect pitch for Aki in my point of view. At one point, she was the Black Rose Witch.
Your soul was saved? If so, then what is this sadness? this great sadness which permeates the barrier.
For the voice of Ruka or Luna, I would choose Michelle Ruff. She is probably one of my favorite voice actresses of all time. She has quite the voice range. She voices Izumi or Zoe Orimoto from Digimon Frontier. To the other side of her voice range, she was Yoko Littner from Gurren Lagann. What definitely got her the role for me is that she voiced Lopmon throughout the whole Digimon series.
But some say it's not even a Digimon. Does that mean it's a human? Not human either. It's different from the Diginomes too.
Now for Ruka's twin brother, Rua or Leo. My choice would be Stephanie Nadolny. The first time I actually heard Stephanie's voice was in the series known as Dragon Ball Z, as Kid Gohan, and she had many multiple roles in Yu Yu Hakusho. I'd say in this fantasy cast, I can see Michelle and Stephanie playing off of each other as the twins. This next one was actually pretty fun for me to cast. Carly Nagisa or Carly Carmine, my choice would be Cherami Lei. She did the roles of Hibiki from Sekirei, Makoto from Persona 5, and Himawari from Triple X Holic.
I think Cherami can bring the right amount of energy to Carly's character, similar to how she did it with Cells at Work as the red blood cell.
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry!
No, not broken dishes! That's even worse! What's going on with you? Here, let me help you clean this up. Even her cowlick's out of whack.
The role of Mikage or Mina would go to Dorothy Elias Fan. She was given the roles of Yuriko Ochiai from Your Lie in April and Chiharu Mihara in the second Cardcaptor Sakura film, The Sealed Card. There's a character she also voiced and looks very similar to Mikage. That would be Meryl Streep from Trigun. If she pulls the exact same pitch as Meryl, I would say it's a perfect shoo-in for the role of Mikage, hands down.
Oh, Vash! I'm so sorry about all of this, but will you please stay here just for today? We'll come for you tomorrow, I promise.
That's nice, thank you.
The nomination for Ushio or Tetsu's voice would be Chris Sabat. One of my favorite roles that Chris has done in the past would be Kurogane from Tsubasa Chronicle. He was also Garter Belt in the series known as Panty and Stocking, and his most popular voice is Vegeta from Dragon Ball Z.
My alternative pick for Ushio's voice would have to go to Patrick Seitz. One of his more famous roles is Dio from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. He also plays the role as King Albert from the JRPG Shining Resonance. The voice range I want for Ushio would have to be similar to Loxus Dreyar from Fairy Tail. I think it would be a perfect fit, especially when Ushio gets angry.
You mouthy little brat!
This one's more of a minor role. However, in Yu-Gi-Oh! D-Stortion, our own creation, she has more screen time. I'm talking about Stephanie. The nomination goes to Brittany Karbowski.
She's that waitress who works at Jack's favorite cafe.
I was impressed with her British accent as Cecilia Alcott from Infinite Stratos. Another impressive role for me was when she was Black Star in Soul Eater. Last and certainly not least, she was Mikoto Misaka from A Certain Scientific Railgun. I'd say a slightly older Misaka voice would fit perfectly for the role of Stephanie.
It wasn't me who saved Dewey Haru and that little girl. It was him.
The voice of Rex Goodwin would go to Keith Silverstein. He had the roles of Tom Tanaka from Durarara, Iwaki Kenjiro from Tenjo Tenge, and in one of his most recent roles, he was Masayoshi Shido in Persona 5.
If I must, I'll crush them beneath my heel.
For the not as oftenly seen Peruvian character, Bomber, I've nominated Ivan Jasso. He's mostly credited under additional voices in notable anime such as Data Live 3 and A Certain Magical Index. The role that made me think, oh, that's actually a pretty interesting voice was when I heard him as Kidos from One Piece. This is a very random One Piece segue that I'm going to go into. For those who have actually seen the pop culture reference chart from One Piece, I don't think I've seen anything about Kidos. For those that have, by all means, comment below. I would say Kidos is Paul Rodriguez in the 90s. I guess in this fantasy voice acting booking, here's where I'm actually going to start breaking bank. For the voice of Kiryu, or I believe his name is Kalin, I've nominated Bryce Peppenbrook. I know I've already nominated a good amount of well-known voice actors, but with Bryce, he has a good amount of main character roles. To go down the list, he was Kirito in Sword Art Online, he was Meliodas in 7 Deadly Sins, and Shiro Emiya in Unlimited Blade Works.
And that's it for our list. If you guys have any suggestions for voice actors, leave it in the comment section below. See you in the next video!